Hello again. When first I heard that a Jewish lawyer in London had been arrested and then questioned about why he was openly wearing a Magen David, a Star of David, in the street, I was sure that it must be a piece of fake news, perhaps something put together by a clever AI program. Because, of course, the idea that the Metropolitan Police in London would arrest somebody and then suggest that wearing a religious symbol was antagonising people is too mad for words, especially in this age of celebrating diversity. I mean, you can't imagine a Sikh being questioned by the police about his reason for wearing a turban in the street, can you? Or a Muslim woman's hijab, say. This has to be a wind up. However, the recording of the interview with the fellow who was arrested is now all over X and YouTube. I give a link to it in the description to this video, and it shows the police interviewing a man and asking why he was wearing a Star of David in the street. The lawyer in question was a legal observer who was monitoring a demonstration outside the Israeli embassy. The police arrested him because he was getting, as they thought, too near the protesters. And they also thought that he was provoking them because he was openly wearing a Star of David. The truth of the matter is, of course, that what they are really doing here is making sure that Muslims are not upset or offended by anything. As I'm sure we all know, Muslims are very easily offended by all kinds of things. Jewish football supporters upset them. The sight of a Magen David is distressing to them. And in fact, the symbols of any religion other than their own is liable to make them angry. Their tendency to fly off the handle at the slightest excuse is why the police are very anxious to appease them and make sure that they don't see or hear anything which might set them off. This is why Christian street preachers have been arrested in Muslim areas, because hearing the Bible being preached is very annoying to a lot of Muslims. This is, of course, classic bullying behaviour. Muslims make sure that we know that they are quite capable of cutting off somebody's head if they get really angry, or of rioting, planting bombs. Because the police know that extreme violence might be lurking in the background, they make great efforts to diffuse any situation which might make Muslims get to that point. It is, of course, why those Israeli football supporters will not be allowed to come and watch their team play, because the threat has been very carefully conveyed to the authorities that if they are allowed into the country, then mob violence will result. Far safer to ban Jews rather than risk the anger of Muslims. This is why a lawyer wearing the Star of David around his neck was arrested, because, as the police said, he might have antagonized people. Never mind that the only people liable to be antagonized by the sight of the Magen David are mad anti-Semites. It's much safer to arrest one Jew than it is to run the risk of 100 furious Muslims cutting up rough. In this way, Muslims have found that they are able to control the streets of Britain, and what's more, they will be aided and abetted by our police in doing so.